We're getting into it again.
I think we are.
Sudan Hawilkhon.
Sudan Khuykhon.
I'm Emil.
I'm William.
Welcome back to We the Mandaeans podcast, the podcast by Mandaeans, for Mandaeans, and everybody in between,
Yep.
from the devout believers to the curious skeptics.
Yep.
This is the podcast where we tackle the hard topics.
Exactly.
And have we got a hard topic to tackle today?
It's a big one.
It's a controversial one as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to expect some pushback on this as well.
As usual.
As usual. What's
Yep.
new?
It's another day at work.
All right. Well, let's break it down. Well, today's topic, I think, one word: extinction.
Yeah.
And interestingly, before we jumped on to record this, we actually found that we have a bit of a difference of opinion
Yeah.
on this topic. So
Emil thought we're on the same page.
yeah, I was shocked. Okay. Well, it's going to be good because we're going to have a difference of opinion, and it's going to be a nice little healthy debate. Well, we don't know how differing our opinions are yet.
Not yet.
So we don't know how much of a debate this is really going to be.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, today's topic is the Mandaean community going extinct?
Mm-hmm.
Are we in the process of extinction? So, at the request of Mr. William, the dictionary definition,
Yeah.
according to Oxford,
Okay.
is the fact or process of a species, family, or other group of animals or plants becoming extinct. Would you like me to relate that more to humans?
That'll be good.
Okay, because that was a bit animalistic. Extinction is the complete disappearance of a species on Earth. Okay, but still animal.
See, it doesn't really search up maybe stats of extinction.
It's still going to give you animals.
Okay. All right. Then let's just
It's the complete disappearance.
complete disappearance.
Sure.
Now, what does that look like over time?
I think it looks like so many of the other communities that have gone extinct over time. They just cease to exist. So when I say extinction, you can point to extinction of both religious and ethnic communities as examples.
Name some.
Sure. Religious communities, if you go down to the Christian route, around the 4th century AD,
Yep.
CE, there were the Nestorians.
Okay.
To give you some context, so the difference between Nestorians and other early Christians is the Nestorians believe, so you know, with the concept of the Holy Trinity,
Yes.
it's essential when you accept the Holy Trinity in Christianity that they believe that God and Christ are of the same substance, being both God and human form.
Yeah.
Nestorians believed that, if I'm not mistaken, Jesus Christ was not God.
Okay.
It's that he had two forms.
Mm-hmm.
His human form, his physical body, and his spirit form, which was from God.
Okay.
And they were designated as heretics. Now they're gone completely, more or less now, as a unified Christian community.
Yeah.
But
But that train of thought still exists.
very, very little. And they're designated as heretics by most churches.
Yeah, but they're not just out there blatantly. But I'm telling you right now, I know blokes that have that train of thought.
Maybe they don't articulate it properly. But look, in terms of cultural extinction,
Yeah.
man,
Well, you can also say the Aztecs, the Egyptians, the
ancient Egyptians,
ancient Egyptians,
these are all extinct.
plenty of them.
So that's extinction,
Okay.
right?
Do I think we're going down that route? My opinion is no.
My opinion is yes. Show you're working out, mate.
I'll show you my working out.
All right.
Okay. Shall we give the for or against?
No, you give your points.
Okay. Now, my understanding of extinction.
Yeah.
First of all, you got to look back. The things we've suffered as a people
Yeah.
far outweigh our current struggles now. Sort of, kind of,
No.
you got to... it's all contextual, right?
Yes.
It's subject.
Yeah.
Subjectual.
Yeah.
Is that the right word? Subjectual.
No, contextual.
Yeah,
Subjective.
okay. Subjective.
Yes.
Yeah. It's all subjective. Now, people would be arguing this point of extinction by saying, "Oh, people are not getting married as much. They're leaving the community. This and that.
Yep.
We're all spread out across multiple countries,
part
and
of it.
it's hard to communicate with one another."
That's true.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
our populations have never been higher.
Okay.
Now, a census in 2016 reported that in Australia alone,
Should have a paper and a pen to write down points. Yeah.
in Australia alone,
Yeah.
there were 12,000 Mandaeans.
Probably more now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That was 2016.
Yeah.
You know,
there's
the amount of
more now.
immigration that's gone,
Yeah,
from-
they estimate it to be somewhere around 14,000 now.
there you go. It's almost 8 years now from that point.
Used to.
Yeah, it's a
Far
bit crazy
out.
to think about.
Yeah.
And mind you, I don't think that would have even accounted for everyone.
Yep.
I still think there would have been probably a couple hundred, whatever, that may not have done the census, even though you get a fine, which is surprising for Mandaeans to want to pay fines. But anyway, I know plenty of families that are still having kids, 3, 4 kids, okay, and that's been a very consistent effort across a lot of Mandaeans, and not just here, but in other countries as well. So, and as our communities keep growing and growing, and you see more of your people, I really don't think that we're facing extinction. Because what are you telling me, after thousands of years, now it's harder than it was ever before?
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Nah, man, I don't think so. We're not under that type of prosecution anymore. You know what I mean? We're free
Persecution.
to persecution.
Yeah.
Not prosecution. Yes.
Yeah.
We're free to practice our religion, at least definitely here in Australia and
Yep.
most Western countries.
Yeah, that's
European
true.
countries.
That's true.
No one's stopping us.
Yep.
It's still quite easy. You get invited to a wedding, you'll see 300-400 Mandaeans, 600 at times on those really big weddings. Online's amazing. The amount of Mandaeans I follow on social media,
Yeah.
they keep popping up, and I keep hitting follow. I don't even know who they are. I've never seen them in my life, but if
I
they're
know.
Mandaean, I'm going to follow them.
I know. You know how I know if someone's Mandaean or not when they pop up on my Instagram? Is William following them? I haven't told you this before. So on camera is the first time.
Oh, there you go.
I swear, if William's following, it means they're Mandaean.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
it. Yeah, so if you want to find the wife, just go through my following list.
Yellow Pages.
Yeah, Yellow Pages.
International viewers. I'm not going to know what Yellow Pages is, but yeah, go for it.
Okay, and another thing is, in terms of the marriage aspect,
Yeah.
now people are saying, "Will, bro, nah, man, it's too hard. You can't find a partner, this and that, small community." One of my brother-in-laws told me, he goes, "Celebrities are always married to other celebrities." I go, "Yeah, so?" He goes, "How many celebrities do you think there are?" I go, "I don't know, couple thousand. Yeah, it's a fair bit, but not that much." He goes, "If celebrities can always find another celebrity to marry within that small population, why would it be so hard for us?"
Yeah, but they've got it easy because they can just go to a third world country and adopt orphan children to increase their population. as they so characteristically do.
Well, listen, I'm not Brad Pitt. You're not Angelina Jolie, so I think that's probably out of the question for us. Okay.
I thought I'd chuck that in there. No, but I do get what you're saying.
Look, if they can do it, certainly we can.
Okay.
Okay, there's always someone out there. And you're telling me that you truly believe in there's only one person for you and this and that. Soulmates aren't found. Me personally, that's my opinion. They're not found, they're built. Okay? They're grown together.
Ooh.
Hey, listen, yeah, I get that you can meet someone and you click and it's all, you know, it's,
But soulmates is not a position that you subscribe to.
not to that level where it's like there's just one out there for me and no one else. Because if that was true, I don't know, man, like,
Sure, if I quite young.
yeah. That's kind of my take on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Now,
Interesting.
What's yours?
All right. Let me preface this first by saying that just because we are in a process of extinction doesn't mean we're doomed.
No, obviously not.
Okay. So we can still turn the bus around.
Yeah.
I think that we are in a state of extinction. We're going down that path.
Okay.
Is our population dwindling? Dwindling? Yes.
Why? What do you mean?
Okay. Let me give you a really excellent example. And that example is actually very relevant to the t-shirt that you're wearing because it's Japan.
Okay. Yeah.
Japan is currently having a population crisis.
I think Korea more so.
They're both having.
Yeah.
They're both having. They have some of the lowest birth rates in the world.
Yeah.
That's giving them an aging population.
Mm-hmm.
Their issue is that their people are not getting together and having children enough to sustain their population.
Yeah.
Now, the causes behind that are completely different to anything that our community is facing.
Yes.
So
That's
that's
a
not
very
my point.
that's a very relevant.
The interesting thing that I read the other day, though, is that generally married couples have to have, or men and women who have children have to have 2.1 children to sustain the population of the country.
Correct. Yeah. Because if from two people you only bring one, then it's a
Sure.
decline.
Do you think most mundane couples these days are having 2 children?
Yeah.
Do you think they're having more?
A fair few.
3?
Now,
4?
Now look, it depends on who you're referring to. Okay, if you're talking about the latest update of maintenance,
Yeah.
okay. For instance,
I'm talking right here and right now. And by that I mean Australia.
no, look, I know plenty of people. Okay, the young ones not so much. The really young ones, I mean, like 20, they might have a kid. This is going to be a bit rude, but most of the time that first kid is unplanned. Okay, and then they see how they go, and it might be half a decade before their next kid.
Yep.
Okay, because it's just it happens abruptly, and yeah, I mean they're kids themselves, to be honest, some of them, and then they have a kid. So
Right.
don't get offended, but it is what it is.
Yep.
But the people that are more older in their 20s, late 20s, that are having kids, they're having heaps of kids. 3 is average. 3 is average, which is sustainable. Now, I know families, okay, and each one of those siblings has at least 2. Most of them have 4.
Okay.
All right?
What
So-
I'm seeing mainly is 2. That's personally. But I'll indulge your point for a second and let's move to 3 and to 4.
Yeah.
Let's take the Japanese example that we just spoke about. 2.1 to sustain the population.
Yeah.
When you are born Japanese, can you pack it up one day and go become Egyptian?
No.
Can you pack it up one day and become Sudanese? I don't know why I picked 2 countries next to one another.
No.
Can you pack it up and become Italian?
No.
You're Japanese.
Yeah.
You can't leave, even if you wanted to. Even if you don't like the Japanese culture and the traditions.
But you can move, which is also...
But you're always Japanese.
Okay, but still...
You're always Japanese.
Okay.
That's not the case with that community. You can stop being mundane.
Yeah, but
You can't stop being Japanese.
that's only relevant if a significant portion of people are doing it, which isn't the case.
Doing what?
Leaving.
I think
Opting out.
this is my concern. You can leave, but you can't come in. And in many instances, when you leave, you leave. Forever.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. That dynamic where you can leave, but you can't come in, calls for us to have much more children than normal. I know people that are leaving. Not leaving, but I know people that have left.
Yeah.
They were good Mandaean friends of mine, and they said, I don't subscribe to the beliefs or the views of this community, be it religious or otherwise. It's their prerogative. And they said, I'm out of here.
And by out of here, do you mean they've left their faith, or do you mean they've married outside?
They've married outside.
Okay.
And I think that, so you said, do you think that we're going through a harder time than we were prior in our history, currently?
Yeah.
And I said no. In terms of physical violence inflicted against us, it's been worse in the past.
Yeah.
Now we live freedom, harmony, amazing. Why? We have freedom.
Yeah.
We have the prerogative to do as we please.
Yeah.
That also means that you have the prerogative and the freedom to do as you please in leaving your faith, leaving your religion, leaving your community.
Mm-hmm.
You can go and join this religion or this community or join no religion. Yeah, go out and be atheist and do crazy things and no one's going to come to you and say to you, hey, you're not allowed to do this.
Well, they
The
can't
point
stop you, but
I'm
yeah, sure, they
trying
can
to the
tell
point
you.
I'm trying to make is having freedom sometimes is a bigger threat to population
Yeah.
than the threat of violence. Because the threat of violence forces you to stay with your community because you develop a fear of what's out there.
Yeah.
So you find comfort and solace in your community, so you marry within your community. When the doors open, you can leave whenever you want. You have the freedom to leave whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The outside world is not scary. The outside world is not daunting. People outside are not going to hurt you. There's laws and regulations, and you don't have this fear of the outside world.
But at the same time, a lot of people do value the community.
Absolutely.
And they do value their family. And while they may not have threats of physical violence or persecution, they still have repercussions.
Not all. Not all families.
Very rarely.
No, you'd be surprised.
Nah, man.
There are some families out there that they don't care what their kids do. They don't care if their kids marry Mandaean or non-Mandaean. And they genuinely don't.
It is what it is then.
You know why? Because they come from a very traumatic background.
Yeah.
They've been through intense trauma, be it whatever they experienced over in the other countries before they came to Australia or anywhere else, or the way that they came to Australia via the boats as an illegal migrant and had to go through the detention centres and all that before they gained citizenship.
Yeah.
Whatever the experience is, they've been through trauma.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of, this is my opinion now,
Yeah.
so we're verging more onto the side of my opinion. A lot of those families associate that trauma with the fact that they're Mandaean. So they turn around when they have their own kids and they say, why would I want to put my son or my daughter through that? خلي يسوون كيفهم. Mom, Dad, I want to marry this, that, British. They say to them, Habibi, we've struggled a lot.
Yeah.
For what? Luish, live your life. Yeah? There are parents out there like that. Again, it's not wrong. It's not right. It's not my job to say that's wrong or that's right.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what they do. But it's there. It exists. Some of them that have repercussions. They say, oh, if you go and marry outside the Mandaean community, we'll ostracize you.
Yeah.
And then there's some people who hear that from their family and they're still willing to bite the bullet and be ostracized to marry out. The point I'm trying to make is people are leaving.
Yeah.
Undeniably.
Yeah.
And the question is, are we having enough babies to not only sustain or make up for the people that are leaving, but also to increase our population? That's the question. In my opinion, no, we're not. Because in my opinion, I think we've got a couple of people that have been left. And having 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 children...
It's no longer feasible.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
not like back in the other countries
Yeah.
where it's a different economic system, it's a different social system. And so having that many kids...
Kids were a luxury.
Exactly.
And the only luxury, you didn't have
That's
cars,
right.
phones, this,
Exactly.
that. So it was
Here,
not feasible.
You can't have more than
Five
once you
is
have
crazy, yeah.
once you have more than 2 kids, you start feeling it. You have the
Yeah.
first child, second child. You get to the third child, you'll start feeling it. Financial pressure, physical. What am I trying to say here? The physical toll
Yeah.
of raising 3 kids.
Yeah, but see, that goes for anyone and everyone. It is exhausting, but at the same time, it's something that's extremely valuable. Okay, and not just for Andeans, but in general, just having kids.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But you also have to work within the realities of the system.
Okay.
If the cost of living crisis, as we're experiencing now in Australia, yeah, things are going through the roof in terms of their cost. Having more than 2 children is just not feasible, whether they'd like to or not. Even in a 2-salary household. That inevitably, if everyone has two, because do you know why the number is 2.1?
Because it's on the edge. Otherwise, 2 is just staying as it is.
It's 2 because it makes up for the mother and the father.
Yeah.
So does that mean that every Mandaean couple needs to have 3 kids?
No.
One to replace the mum, one to replace the dad, and the third to make up for the person that's leaving.
Look, man.
3 kids is a lot.
1 out of 3
Yeah.
is massive. Okay, so I definitely don't think it's 1 out of 3 people that are leaving. That's definitely not the case.
Not here in Australia. So this is also another point. You've got to think about other countries as well.
Okay, other countries, different communities. Over here, we're pretty lucky. We have a great population. I think we're close to 15, maybe over
Yeah, look,
15,000.
I got family in the UK.
Yeah.
UK historically doesn't have a very big Mandaean population.
No.
But bro, it's like they've got people leaving left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
Because there's no strong sense of community there in the UK. The people find more solace, more comfort, a stronger sense of community in the British or the English culture.
Yeah.
So they go out and marry.
But despite that, there are still plenty of people, and we've noticed on particular, let's call them group chats, forums. For instance, in America, these guys are complaining that they can't find someone, but they're still keen to find someone, despite how hard it is for them. For instance, if they live in New York, all right, there's plenty of Mandaeans in Texas and Austin and San Antonio, Boston as well.
They're spread all over the place.
Yeah. Some states it's pretty hard, but despite that, they're still keen to find someone. Okay, and mind you, okay, the freedom of choice is one thing. Okay? And as they say, the more choice you have, the harder it is to pick.
Sure.
Okay? It can corrode things. Choice. Freedom in general can corrode you. But despite having that much freedom, people want to pick that route of seeking someone from their faith.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And despite some of them, they might know nothing about it. They're not religious or anything, but you know what? They got the idea that I'm Mandaean. I want to marry someone Mandaean. This is the way it is. This is how I want it to continue. And I definitely don't think it's that many people.
I'm not denying that there are people out there who are like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Are there people who want to marry within their own faith and expand the population of their community? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you can't say, oh, because I know this person and this person and this person who are like that, then I'm going to blanket it and say most Mandaeans are like that.
Yeah.
Because the people that you know has a different experience to other people. That's first. Second of all, you need to understand that we only see things from our perspective in that people our age who've lived in Australia roughly the same amount of time as us. The people that are coming from more recently from overseas, higher divorce rate.
From where overseas?
Well, I mean...
You mean they're marrying overseas and coming to here? Or they're from overseas coming here and getting married?
I mean, either. But I'm saying they've migrated to Australia more recently.
Yeah.
Be it from Syria or Jordan or Turkey or wherever they left to from Iraq and Iran. The ones that are coming here more recently are having higher divorce rate.
Now, would you blame that on poor adaptation?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's worlds apart. It is worlds apart. Go look at the system in Iraq and Iran, the marriage system. It's completely different. You say to anybody in Iraq or Iran that the man and the wife in a marriage are equal. No, they are not. Not in Iraq and not in Iran. It's not just now.
Yeah.
It's how it's been for the last 2,000, 3,000 years.
Yeah.
Right? Where, and there's so many other things as well. Right? It's just a different marriage life. It's a different marriage dynamic. You come from that marriage dynamic and you come here where now it's a different story. The rights and the obligations in marriage, not just the rights, the obligations, huge as well. Because in those countries like Iraq and Iran, the obligation is that the man is the breadwinner. Because normally in those countries he has a higher earning capacity. The woman is the one who kind of handles the house. She cooks, she cleans,
takes care of the kids.
If you tell someone from those countries, it doesn't have to be mundane, you tell someone from those countries, a man from those countries, oh, you're cleaning today. What's he going to say? He's going to say you're dreaming. Oh, you cook today. Unless it's barbecue, not happening. It's not happening. Right? So there's a different expectation, there's a different obligation when they come from those countries. They come here, women and men have a much closer earning capacity. I mean, gender pay gap and the like. Keeping that in mind. But the earning capacity of men and women in this country, in first world countries, so much closer to third world countries. So first of all, they come here and the women say, well, I don't need to rely on a man for that kind of income. I can go and study or open a business and whatever, and I can do the same thing.
Also, isn't that a bit of a problem? The fact that both people have to work?
I don't know if both people have to work. It may be, but the point I'm trying to make is women have a higher income earning capacity in first world countries. That's first.
Definitely.
Second of all, the legal rights in the marriage also relating to the kids are different. Here. And I think sometimes when women come from those countries and come here, they feel maybe the way that they have been raised in their families, or they feel a bit hard done by in those countries. They come here and they say, now I have these rights and these freedoms, I would like to exercise them. Because for them it's a privilege. So you come here, and it's worlds apart.
So it's only a problem when you compare it to here. But when you're over there and you compare it to other people that are there, it's perfectly fine.
It works there.
Yeah, it works there. The big split is obviously when you come here and then there's that comparison. And as they say, comparison is the killer of all joy. And I'm not saying most of it's joy. But obviously them seeing how things go on in this country, it does change their perspective, and they go, oh, well, this doesn't work for me anymore. I feel like I'm mistreated in that sect, so I want to transition to this.
Now,
that's where most problems arise.
People are going to come and they're going to say, William, you're not married. And to preface, I'm not married either. What do you know about this? What gives you the right, what qualifies you to talk about this topic when you're not married? That's me playing devil's advocate.
Well, first of all, it's actually better that I'm not married, because that kind of gives me an unbiased... gives me an unbiased, because, man, you think if I'm married, I'll be sitting here talking about marriage and this and that. Shhaddek, man. You get home and your wife...
remember how we talked about cooking and cleaning? There'll be none of that waiting for you when you get home. Zero.
No, but what's really important is, I think, to avoid this issue, okay, you've raised an issue, and if we were to tackle this issue...
which is important. Let's not just talk about problems. Let's talk about what's the solution moving forward.
Okay, solution would be to educate the men coming into this country, because there is no one to tell them how it is over here when you get here. They think the same thing that happens over there will happen over here.
That's right.
And that's the way it's going to run. So I think we need to have seminars for those newly migrated people.
And they're starting to now.
Are they actually?
Here and there, little ones, but they're not widespread enough.
And I don't think they're Baimandaeans.
No, they're Baimandaeans.
Actual?
Yeah, I've seen a couple.
Okay. Interesting.
I think maybe they're a bit more centered on legal rights and legal obligations or like financial stuff.
Yeah.
But there's still an element of that. But with that being said, it's still severely lacking.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. Especially in the part where you have to tell them, listen, man. First of all, you can't just run the house like you used to.
Yeah.
It's a two-person game.
Yep.
It's a two-way road,
That's what it is.
and you got to give and take.
Yes.
There's no longer she does everything and you do nothing, because now she's actually doing way more than she would have been doing back at home. In home country, raise kids, food, this, that.
That's right.
Over here, oh my God, so much more to do.
Probably do that and has to go out and work as well.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's a lot of pressure that's being put on Mandaean women today.
Yep.
And
They're gonna love you for that one. Follow him on Instagram if you're interested. No, but I think all jokes aside, I think a lot of Mandaean women will find that really refreshing. Yeah. For a Mandaean man to come out and say the pressure being put on Mandaean women and Mandaean young girls in our day and age, it's too. Maybe someone should say it's too much pressure.
Yeah.
There is a degree of pressure that's being put on them. Maybe let's relax a little bit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will find that very refreshing.
Yeah. I hope so. And it's more pressure on our women than women of the West, because they don't have that transition. Correct?
I don't know. I'm not sure what the point you're making is here.
The pressure...
Oh, the transition from family life to marriage life?
Family life to marriage life, and also marriage life from home country
to
right,
here. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for the people that come from overseas, yeah.
Because the men here are more... they know they go. They have that training. I would call it training, because you grow up into that society and that's the mindset, and it's a great mindset to have.
It is easier to adapt from being a man in Iraq and Iran to this country than being a woman in Iraq and Iran and adapting to this country. That's my hot take of the day.
In what way?
Because it's generally the same, bro. You go out, you earn the money, you do the job, you start a family. I guess in the household, the way you do things is a little bit different.
The house, but outside of the household,
the point I'm trying to make is to survive as a man. It's the same deal, bro. You go out, you work, you earn your keep, you invest, you build up your power base and your wealth. You go out, enjoy yourself, have a bit of fun, have your mates. I mean, I don't see a very stark comparison in terms of the general picture from surviving as a man in those countries, surviving as a man here.
I can see that. That's fair enough.
Another issue to talk about, which related to the marriage thing.
Yeah.
Families.
What do you mean?
The family's getting involved.
Yeah.
It's a marriage killer.
Yeah.
It's a marriage killer. هذول ما نحبهم. We got to put translations on these. We put like little translations at the bottom when we speak in Arabic. هذول ما نحبهم. هذول ما نحكي وياهم. هذول مو خوش ناس.
ذو عشيرة ذيس عشيرة.
هذا من هذول العشيرة. هذول عراقيين. هذول إيرانيين. هذول متخلفين.
Look, I think that's dying down a fair bit. It's still relevant and it's still there, but
the Iraqi-Irani one is on the way out.
Definitely.
I think that's undeniable.
It's nothing.
Finally, thank God.
Finally, but within the different ashirat, that's a bit more
that's
relevant.
Still going,
that's still going. But at the same time, the youth of today, they're very convincing. They couldn't care less. Okay, if they like that person, they like that person. Okay, their family name has nothing to do with it. And they'll tell their parents, I don't care.
It's controversial.
It is controversial.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But if they like this person, and they're a good person.
Yeah, respect. Yeah. Respect to them for standing up and saying, I want to marry this person.
Yeah. And they do convince their families. I've seen it done multiple times.
I've seen it done as well.
Yeah.
I've seen it done. And I've seen other families where they still haven't
They succumb to it. And especially when family gets involved. I know plenty of marriages that would have been
perfect.
So beautiful and fruitful, and like, you could say it was a match made in heaven, but it was more so like, it's good people getting together and that would work out, and the greed of the parents gets in the way and blinds the children, and good things just crumble.
Okay, another question. Why do parents in our community seem to get involved in the marriage? What drives them to do this?
Well, Habibi, they don't just get involved in marriage. They get involved in every aspect of your life. Shitri to this. What do you want to study?
This is getting juicy.
Man, what do you want to study? What do you want to do for work? Don't do this. Don't dress like that. Get off your... I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on and on. And now look, this is not just a mundane thing.
Yeah.
This is not just a mundane thing.
Yeah.
This goes across all walks of life, all cultures. The parents get involved. And it's a good and bad thing.
What's the good? What's the bad?
The good of it is your parents look out for you and they've bit the bullet multiple times, okay? In terms of that they've had some sharp life experiences that weren't so pretty and they want to have you avoid their mistakes.
Yes.
Right? And now look, some people will argue, no, I want to make my own mistakes and I want to learn, right?
Bit silly.
It's a bit silly sometimes. Some mistakes are not worth making, okay? So fair enough when parents want to get involved in that aspect. Now, the bad of it is when they want to live through you.
That's big.
That's big.
That's big.
Now, look, your parents are humans too, okay? They are people with their own experiences. And just like you, they're living this life for the first time. They're experiencing it for the first time. So the things that they didn't get to do, the things that would have been the highlight of their life, they're trying to have you live it out for them.
Sir Dictor.
So, Doctor, now...
I've seen that one so many times.
Same here, bro. Victim number one. So, things like that. And, look, it can be good in a sense because it motivates you and when they tell you their dreams and their aspirations and what they want for you. And that's all well and good. But when it's the opposite of when they want to really try to live through you and instead of living their life and...
It becomes direction instead of guidance.
Yeah, exactly. Direction instead of guidance. And they move more into the line of... they forget their life and they just... They're stuck in the mentality of my kids, gotta keep taking care of them. And it's a bit of a problem because obviously Mandaeans, you live with your parents till you're married.
More or
and
less.
That's how it is for, I would say 99%.
99.
99%.
Yeah.
So they're
At
gonna,
least it is here in Australia.
yeah, so they're going to continue wanting to live through you. And that's where it gets involved and linking back to the marriage. It gets complex and sometimes it screws up. Okay, so it's a bit of a hassle in that sect.
And that affects the marriage.
Yeah. Now, another thing for marriage that I wanted to dig into, we were talking about people getting to know each other and whatnot.
Yep. That's such a big thing.
Now, you do have access to more people, right?
By virtue of like social media and
like
stuff.
social media and stuff like
Yep.
that. Although it can be difficult, especially when there's no tone of speech across texts, and a lot of people would like to just meet people the authentic way.
You know what it is about social media for me? It's going to sound so bad. Other people ruin it for me.
How so?
Because... Oh man, how are we going to get cancelled on our second episode? I see what some mundane guys say and do on... Let's take Instagram. I think that's the social media platform where people get to know each other in a romantic context.
Yeah.
The most mundane and non-mundane.
Yeah.
And I see what they say and do on there to some... Because, you know, like, we hang out often as a group.
Yeah.
And our group is probably a 50-50 mix of girls and guys.
Yeah.
Some of them are our relatives, some of them are not.
Yeah.
So we have a really good dialogue, male to female, female to male, as friends.
Yeah.
So we get a really good insight into their lifestyle and what it's like to live in their shoes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I see what some mundane men like say and do on Instagram. And it's really inappropriate, man. Like, look, they're a small minority.
Yeah.
They're such a small minority. But
It ruins it.
it's embarrassing on behalf of the community. And the mundane girls, naturally, they draw this conclusion where it's like, ugh, I've had 2 or 3 mundane guys message me something that is disrespectful, distasteful, or something like that.
Yeah. Or they're just dry. They don't know how to make a mistake.
Do you blame them for, after having that kind of reception from mundane men multiple times, they end up drawing that conclusion about all mundane men? Because when another mundane guy DMs them, they're gonna be like, oh, this guy is. Do you know what I mean? This guy's. Unfortunately, the point I'm trying to make is, unfortunately, sometimes it's a small minority that wreck it for
The majority.
the majority. I feel like that's a thing as well, man.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think people should take a couple of instances and wreck it for themselves in general.
It's different being a girl, bro. It's different being a girl.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like, I see what they say and what they do, and I look at it and I'm like, you know what, man? I wouldn't reply to that. Like, if I saw that, I'd be turned off.
Yeah.
Yeah? So I understand where the girls are coming from as well. And that makes it harder to meet people. Yeah? It does make it harder to meet people. In my opinion, there's another thing that makes it harder to meet people as well, which is the stigma in our community. طلعوا وياها. Bro.
I think that's dying down now, to be honest. It's
You
not
reckon?
no, it's not as crazy anymore. Especially when a lot of them, like, for instance, we've seen it here in the mundane youth group, where, they start talking to each other.
But they come here, like in a group setting. If they were to go out by themselves,
Yeah.
oh, I saw so and so. It's bad. This gossiping thing is bad in our community. Oh, I saw flan and flan out at wherever. Oh, bro, hey, do you hear flan and flan going out? Yeah, apparently, because I saw them out at dinner the other day. Yeah, no worries. Hey, bro, you never guess who I saw.
Look, it's a bit
And then
ugly.
in the space of 3 days,
Everyone knows.
even the remote tribes in Tanzania have heard about it. Why? For what? This girl and this guy, they're going out to know each other. Maybe they're going out as friends. Maybe it's the first time they've gone out. They're just going out for a coffee to get to know each other. Maybe Hishi.
Yeah, no, it's
Might
fine.
be Hishi. Yeah. But it's the feel like, oh, if someone sees me and then they told this person, this gossiping thing, also it's not good.
No, it's not.
They need to relax. They need to let people live their lives.
But you know what a lot of people are doing now? They're actually telling their parents. So they're confining their parents. And now they're more...
Which
they're
is
more,
good.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
They got to a stage where now most people are comfortable with their parents.
That's right.
And they go, listen...
I've seen that.
At the end of the day, I'm talking to someone mundane. I just want you guys to know. I'm not sure if it's serious yet. We're going to get to know each other.
Yeah.
And if it's serious, who
I
knows?
agree.
Bacha Akbar.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
That is becoming more common. It's so good to see because it means that barrier is breaking down between the kids and their parents. They can just be open with them.
Yeah.
And I think in most instances, the reception from the parents is really good.
Yeah. No,
I've seen like in instances like they'll let it go on for like 3-4 months. If they see that it's still going on, they'll pick up the phone and reach out to the other parents. And it's not even like that formal. It doesn't have to be that deep. It's just like, hey, I know my son or my daughter is going out with your son or your daughter. Just wanted to reach out, have a telephone conversation, make sure that we're on the same page.
Yeah.
This and that. They say, yeah, very nice. Thank you for reaching out. La-di-di, la-di-da. Maybe they have a coffee together, whatever.
Yeah.
And they keep it cash.
And you know what? It also helps the relationship because now it's not built on lies.
Yes.
It's
My parents know, your parents know.
Yeah, we can relax. We know it's serious within each other.
That's right.
We're going to try our best to actually work through this because you know what? If something's in the shadows, you don't mind it going to dust because no one knows anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
but
right.
if it's something that's public, you want to try your best to make it work,
Yeah.
and that's how it is.
Yeah.
Now, also linking back. Are you done for this particular part? Because I want to link back to the
Extinction?
Yeah. Yes.
Which part do you want to link it back to?
Okay. The extinction.
Yeah.
So,
I'm done for marriage. I think we pointed out a lot of the issues. And I think we gave some solutions as well.
yeah, of course.
Maybe
I
we'll
would
do.
hope so.
Maybe we'll do another deep dive later, like into marriage
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah.
But to draw it back to extinction,
Now, one thing you said was, you got to have 2.1 children for every couple to maintain
the population.
the population. That's if to say no one's leaving, right?
That's right.
Now, whether we like it or not, some people are leaving.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not always they're not always happy with the decision. Some people are lucky enough to find someone that's actually there they work with, and it goes into a happy story, right? Now, one thing to ensure that our population continues to be, pretty solid and fruitful, what you said is it's pretty hard to raise two kids. After the two, you get into the 3, 4, it tends to be expensive and whatnot, and it can be quite a hassle.
So solution-wise, I know what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Solution-wise, there's two solutions.
Mm-hmm.
If we are in extinction.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say, I know that you say that we're not, but let's say for the purpose of this part of the podcast, let's say that we are.
Yeah.
You have two solutions. Population increase via conversion into the religion.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening anytime soon. And I don't think it should happen anytime soon, because I don't think that our religion and our religious base and foundation is strong enough and solid enough to start accepting converts into our religion.
And it's not just that, there's more to it, but that's a whole
Even if, whether we are allowed or not, okay? As far as our religious clergy have told us, we're not allowed to.
Yeah.
Let's say even if we were allowed to, we're not at that stage yet, and we won't be for a long time.
Yeah.
The other option is you introduce measures to increase the population via the birthing rate.
Yeah.
Now, in Japan, what they've done is they've put in a cash incentive.
Okay.
They've done a little, I think subsidy is the right word. They do a little subsidy for couples that have like their first 3 children or 5 children or whatever. It hasn't worked in Japan though. And I think it's very telling, because I think
look, Japan is a different story.
Yeah,
you have to remember.
because in Japan the problem is not just financial.
Yeah,
it's social.
Yeah. Social's the biggest problem.
That's
they have
right.
over there.
So throwing money at the problem in that instance is not going to solve it.
No.
But in many other instances, so that there are in a lot of countries where they give you a cash incentive for having more kids.
Yeah.
And so
a lot of places it's worked.
in a lot of places it has worked. And it's Mandarins are not a country. Let me make this so unequivocally clear, because if this gets misconstrued, people are going to take it and run with it. So let me make this blatant and obviously clear. Mandarins are not a country.
Mm-hmm.
Mandarians do not view themselves as a nation.
Yeah.
We never have, and I don't think we will for a very, very, very long time. We don't have aspirations of that kind.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I think there are certain issues that we face as a community that if we were to think about it in the context of a country, we would start to turn up solutions which may be a little bit outside of the box to what we normally do.
Okay.
So, for example, we sit down and we say, okay, birthing rate.
Yeah.
We are not a country.
No.
We are a community. However, if we were a country, how would we fix this problem? Sometimes approaching things that way, we are not a country, but if we were, how would we fix this problem? Allows you to, and don't get me wrong, this is not going to work for everything.
No.
And some things it's going to be like, well, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
But in some instances like this, you say, okay, well, what do countries do to increase their birthing? Okay, well, why don't we try this? Why don't we try that? Why don't we try what works? What doesn't work?
Yeah.
There's 101 countries that have done studies on this. Let's read them. Let's find out what are their findings. Let's learn from them.
Yeah.
Why we make the mistakes. Because there has to be some sort of an initiative or an incentive put in place to kind of combat this population dwindle. Also, another solution is just have less people leave.
Yeah, and that can be done by forms of education.
Yep.
And that also ties back into language and culture.
That's right.
Okay.
There's a thing where you need to create a dynamic where, and it's going to be a hot take. There's going to be a lot of hot takes in this episode. Yeah. This is a hot take, but I don't feel like this is strong enough in our community. I don't feel like there's a strong enough dynamic where people feel a magnetism or a gravitation towards their community. They don't feel an allegiance towards their community. I feel like I see that in other communities a bit more.
Of course, because when you describe our community, what can you what can you name? What's so magnetizing? Besides
so much.
The people themselves.
There's so much. Man.
Yes, but for instance,
we did say that we were going to talk about that in a future episode, which is again, to rehash it, I'm a Mandaean. I was born a Mandaean. I didn't ask to be born into this religion. I didn't ask to be born in this into this community. Yet I still feel like I have this obligation upon me. Why should I care?
Yeah.
Why should I care about Mandaeanism? Why should I care about my community? Why should I go and get involved, not just religious stuff, but with my community? I think it ties back to that as well.
Yeah.
Because what you just asked is the same thing. What do you see? What is there to be magnetized by? Some people see not many things.
Yeah.
Personally, I see so many things.
Yeah.
There are so many beautiful and unique things in our community, not just our religion. Our religion has beautiful and unique things. But as a people, we have beautiful and unique things. Like I had a conversation with a workmate the other day. If you'll indulge me.
Yeah, of course.
He came up and he's that workmate that likes to know like where everybody is from and everybody's culture, and he likes to think of himself as like well-read. So he'll always ask questions so that he knows more about particular communities and cultures. Anyway, and I can't remember how we got onto this topic. I think it's because he asked me if I was fasting for Ramadan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I said to him, "Oh, I'm not Muslim." And he said, "Oh, really?" And then we got chatting and he said, "What are you?" And I said, "I'm Mandaean." And he said, "What's that?" And he said, "Oh, you know, like..."
It's like, here we go again.
Yeah, but man, like, when I tell you, this guy...
Took a real interest.
Man, like, it was... I'm not going to say on camera how long we spent talking because my boss might say this. But this guy asked a lot of questions.
Yeah, well.
Like, a lot of questions. Like, from the top down to the bottom. Mm-hmm. The reason why I bring up this conversation is because there was a part in the conversation where he goes, "Are you guys allowed to drink?" And I was like, "Well, technically no, but we do."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Are you guys allowed to eat pork?" And I eat pork. And I said to him, "Technically no, but we do." And he said, "Why do you keep saying technically no?" And I said to him, "Well, according to our religious laws, you're not allowed to drink. You're not allowed to eat pork." I said, "But our community is a very libertarian community.
Yeah.
We really value that individual's liberty and their rights as an individual. So we say it's their choice."
Yeah. We don't shun anyone.
That's right. And our religious men also, I said to him, our religious men are also the same. They will not ostracize someone for drinking.
Or for eating meat that's not...
They'll say, like our version of halal.
Yeah.
Our religious men, we know them very well. We have excellent relationships with all of them. They're lovely people. And they say, "Habibi, I've told you what you need to know. Like, I've told you why you shouldn't drink and why.
Yeah.
Past that, it's your choice. It's between you and Hey."
Yeah. Great.
Yeah? Huwa hasbek. If you've done the right, if you've done the wrong, huwa hasbek. I've told you this is what we do and this is why. After that, it's your choice.
Yeah.
So I said that to the guy that I worked with. I said, we're a very libertarian community. It's about everybody's individual choice. We respect your choices. We respect your prerogative to go out and do what you want. And you'll handle the consequences. Mm-hmm. This guy, he goes, "I love that. That's amazing. That's so beautiful. That's so unique."
Yeah, well.
And he's right.
Yeah.
It is so beautiful. It is so unique. So to come back to what we were talking about before, people say, "What do I have in my community to be magnetized by?"
The fact that you're not forced to practice
free.
is one.
So that's the question that they ask.
Yeah.
What do I have in my community to be magnetized by, to feel an allegiance to? It's in front of you. There's so much, and that's one thing.
Yeah.
That's one thing. There's so much more. We're doing well, man. Like we can't. I can't complain personally. I know you feel the same way about this.
We're really on a good run.
We are on a good run.
So I have high hopes.
Yeah.
We're in better position, as I said, than we've ever been.
Yep.
Insane amount of opportunity.
Yep.
Lots of bright people.
Yeah.
We can only go up from here.
I agree. Yeah, it's only up from here. It's an upwards trajectory.
Yeah.
We've come a long way, man.
Yeah.
We've come so far. I mean, we've only been here for about 45 years. So first families came to Australia in 1980. One of them was my mum's family. From those days, from the hall in Smithfield,
Small shack.
the small little shack,
Yeah.
we've come so far.
Yeah.
We've come like, and it makes you wonder. We've come this far with the small population that we have, with the little effort. It's been, in my opinion, largely an uncoordinated or unorganized
Yeah.
effort. And look how far we've come.
Yeah. So imagine if we actually put some real brain power and
Yeah.
a large scale effort into this.
Exactly.
How far can we go?
That's the question. That's the question. How far can we go? How far can we take this? And that comes back to extinction, if we are or are not going extinct. It comes back to marriage.
Yeah.
Like, we've done a lot of things well. Like when we spoke about with the Mandaean kids being able to be open with their parents and just say to them,
It's
Mum,
a big
Dad,
step forward.
it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. Does that mean we stop there?
No.
No, I think we also got a lot of progress to be made as well. Like the thing about the gossiping and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a lot less of that. But this comes with time and progress. I think for what we've done so far, it's really remarkable. And it, as they say, it pulls at the strings of the imagination. It makes you say, how far can we go?
Yeah.
Like when we all put, an Aussie saying, pull your head in.
Yeah, yeah.
When we all pull our heads in, pull our resources, pull our brain power, pull our efforts, how far can we go? What's the future? What does it look like? Because we're on the up and up right now. Man, who knows what the future holds? I'm excited, personally. I think we can do a lot.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's looking exciting. It's looking good.
The future is bright, as they say.
Oh, yeah.
The future is
Some of the young kids that I see coming through nowadays,
insane.
they're so smart.
Insane. And not just academically smart. You know, I mean, we've had plenty of those 98.5
Yeah.
ATAR kids, both male and female, which is great to see.
Yeah.
But also just
People smarts as well.
people smarts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really good social people.
Man, I had a kid come up to me the other day. It's like, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. What do you do for work? And this and that. It was a kid.
Yeah, well.
I go, how old are you, bro? Because I'm 13. What do you do? Oh, yeah, I want to get into law and this and that. Nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts. So, man, I'm excited to see what the future holds. And as it unfolds,
Yeah.
we'll be covering it here.
That's it. It's pretty
So
good.
as it happens live, we'll keep bringing it to you guys.
Yeah. So it'll be good. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
And we'll have a lot more to come.
Dramatic ending.
Dramatic.
That's a wrap?
Yeah, that's a wrap.
Alrighty. Thank
Thanks,
you guys.
See you next time.